Hello and welcome to Meydan Golf, where today we're talking about driver technology and specifically how that technology has changed over the last 7 or 8 years. I'm holding in my hands my old driver that I was using since 2013 up until a couple of months ago, a Callaway X-Hot 9.5 degree, and my new driver that I've just switched to, a TaylorMade 9 degree SIM driver 2020 model. Alongside me, Perry Harper, custom club fitter for eGolf Megastore, PGA professional. Perry, and you were the man that helped me make this switch. You were the man that fitted me out for these drivers. Give us the top line, if you can, as to how much technology has moved on in the last 7 or 8 years, and specifically where it's moved on.
So driver faces over the year have got thinner and thinner and thinner, and right now with this TaylorMade driver, it's as thin as it's allowed to be. It can't be any thinner, any faster than it's allowed to be right now. Introduction of carbon fibers now in there, so carbon fiber crowns and bottoms and soles. That saves weight, allowing the manufacturers to put that weight anywhere where they see fit to make the driver perform as best he possibly can.
You've got this shape in motion feature at the back here, which is encouraging aerodynamics. How much have aerodynamics really changed in the last 7 years, Perry?
Hugely. So you'll see this driver on the bottom of it right now is even the way it's angled at 18 degrees is designed to make you faster from the bottom third of your golf swing. So millions of dollars and time spent, guys like DJ, and so really sort of nailing down to those guys and working out how you can pick up 1 or 2 extra miles an hour, because that's all you require to get those difference in gains.
The other thing when you look at both of these drivers that is very noticeable is the adjustability features. Obviously TaylorMade and Callaway do things a little bit differently, but this model from 7 years ago is somewhat rudimentary when it comes to adjustability. This one, of course, has the movable weight just behind the face that can be changed for a fade and a draw bias, and there are just more different ways that you can spin this one, right? 100%.
Now the Callaway one that you've got isn't that bad. It's got some adjustability. You've got the hosel in there, which allows you to open and close the face, which in 2012-13 was a great addition to that it was new to that era. But now the adjustability in the modern day driver and more this SIM, you've got 6, 7 different lofts that you can change on there, so you can loft it up, loft it down, and the draw and fade bias. You can really make this work for any type of golfer, any type of swing.
Every year that new drivers are released, there are claims by manufacturers on more yardage, more club head speed, more ball speed. Sometimes up to 20 yards has been thrown around out there, and I've always gotten along very well with this driver, and that was the reason why I spent so long with it in the bag, 6, 7 years. Finally decided to move across, and what we're going to do is we're going to get these drivers on the GC Quad launch monitor, and we're going to take a look at the numbers. We're going to hit 5 shots with the Callaway X-Hot, we're going to hit 5 shots with the TaylorMade SIM, and the numbers hopefully will paint the full picture for us. Okay, so up first I've got my 2013 Callaway X-Hot 9.5 degree, a club that I've gotten along with very, very well these last 7 years. I've really enjoyed it, love the feel of it, love the look of it, and it's been a fantastic driver for me. But let's hit 5 shots and let's have a look at some of the data, and we'll take the best 3. We'll give myself a little bit of breathing room maybe on a couple of bad ones, which are inevitable. So shot number 1. That's not too bad down the left side of the fairway.
288, club head speed 109, ball speed 155. Now that ball speed number is the one that we're going to be looking at the most, I think.
Okay, and what about the spin?
Spin wise, 2.5, 2584, good launch 9.6.
It feels light, the shaft is certainly playing a factor in that, and it feels like I can swing it pretty fast. Okay, shot number 2. Well, that was a good strike, that one.
A bit better, that one.
A little bit higher. What do we get there?
Well, dead straight, 291. So 291 yards total, 270 carry. Launch and spin 12.7, so better launch spin 2,600, ball speed again 154, so same as one before.
And that is kind of ideal, and that was why it was so difficult for me to part with this driver, because performance-wise, I didn't really see anything wrong with it for such a long time, even though equipment changes and technology changes were clearly taking place in the market. It was hard to make a switch. Shot number 3. And that was pulled left. That would have missed the fairway left. What do we see there, Perry?
So good distance. You'd expect that going slightly left. 292. I'd expect the launch and the spin. Yep, so launch and spin a little bit lower than before. 11.4 and 2,300. But ball speed again 153.
153.
Yes.
So that ball speed, the all-important number. Ball speed, of course, equaling total distance largely. Okay, shot number 4. Try and crank it up this time.
Good.
Starting to wonder why I changed drivers, Perry. What did we get there?
This is your longest one so far. Just crept past the 300 mark, 303 yards total. 278 carry. Ball speed again 153, so same as before. Launch a bit higher, spin a bit lower. Spin was 2122, launch was 13.6, but that ball speed still on that 154, 155.
So really,
mark.
let's try and get that ball speed up for this final shot. Give it all we've got here. 5th ball. Not the best strike, in all honesty, and left again.
Yeah, that's the most offline you've been so far. Good distance still though, 290, 296 total distance. Carry 270, but your launch 9.1, but ball speed your fastest at 1.59, but it was your fastest club head speed of 111.
111. Okay, so that's the Callaway X-Hot 9.5 degree driver. Listen, it's a club I've really loved over the years. I love the ball flight, I love the feel off the face. I pretty much love everything about this club, and it was going to take something quite special to encourage me and persuade me to change and switch to a more modern driver. Let's move now to my current club, which I got a couple of months ago, the 2020 model of the TaylorMade SIM, and let's make a little bit of a number comparison there. All right, let's take a look at the 2020 TaylorMade SIM, and let's see what the cumulative efforts of 7 years of club technology have produced in the driver market, because this is the model, this is the most popular driver on the market right now, the TaylorMade SIM. And we've got 5 shots. We've got it on the GC quad. We're going to take a look at the data. So shot number 1. So a little bit of a slight fade, which is the exact opposite of what I was doing with the Callaway X-Hot. But what are the numbers saying, Perry?
Pretty good. 303 total. But the huge thing here is ball speed and carry. So ball speed 159. So a good 5-6 mile an hour faster than what we currently had. And that carry is 281 with a backspin of 2449. So a very good start.
It does go to show though that driver technology, as much as it has been advanced, we're still talking about very marginal gains even across a 7-year period.
Yeah, your driver is it was very good for you. Fantastic. The only reason why we ended up changing is because we found a slight difference. It's never going to be huge from a driver which you absolutely love.
Yeah, I was never going to quite turn into Bryson DeChambeau. That one is very clear. But here's the second shot. Let's try and get a bit more distance. Let's try and crack the 160 mark. Again, that one just popped up a little bit. It's gone right.
You'd be pleasantly surprised.
Go on.
312.
Wow. It did not feel like a 312 yard drive, but I'm not arguing with the GC quad.
The strike wasn't fantastic, I'll agree with that one. Ball speed 154. But what you've managed to do there, or the driver's managed to do for you, is give you very high launch, very low spin. So launch of 15 degrees and backspin of 1,508. So the ultimate combination for getting as much distance as you possibly can is that high launch, high spin, and that's exactly what you've just got there.
Let's see if we can catch one out the middle. Shot number 3. GC quad, which is a favourite on tour. And let's see if we can make a good swing on this one. A little bit left. Not such a bad strike though.
Yeah, slightly left. 300, just got past the 300 mark there. Not the biggest of carry you've had, but ball speed 159. Launch and spin.
Ball speed.
Yeah, more ball speed. Launch and spin is slightly on the lower side. It's the sort of left shot we've got there, but still good ball speed.
Shot number 4. And that was my best strike of the day, no doubt about it.
Over the 300 mark again, 305 yards. Ball speed good again, 158. Launch and spin fantastic. Launch at 10 degrees and spin at 2,114. So definitely your best shot that you've had today.
All right, let's end on a good one. It's gone up and a little bit right. Not my best, in all honesty.
It's good numbers though. So your longest hit you've had today, 315. Ball speed 157. And again, this driver has just took care of that backspin problem that we had before. Launch of 14.2 and backspin of 1955. Gave you that carry of 289, which is as long as you've had today.
Okay, let's take a little look and compare these two drivers and see what kind of numbers and how they match up. So we've taken 5 shots with each club. We've removed the 2 worst ones from each set, and these are the final numbers. Now immediately, in terms of dispersion, I can see that I was hitting the TaylorMade to the right and the Callaway to the left. Neither were going down the middle, unfortunately, but what are the numbers telling you?
So if we look at the comparison across the 2 drivers there, so your current X-Hot driver, your old one should I say, 155.2 ball speed, and the new TaylorMade one of 156.8 on average. So that's 1.5 miles an hour faster. Now the club head speed that I can show you later is exactly the same. So there's 110 on each driver. So this TaylorMade SIM driver is faster off the face. Launch is a bit higher at 13.7 with lower spin of 1,971 on average against your X-Hot of 11.4 degrees launch and 2,356 in spin. Ultimately, the number that everyone cares about is the carry distance of your current, of the older one was 272 and that's now gone to 285, so it's 13 yards longer through the air. And total distance, not a bad number, 297 with the older X-Hot driver, but the TaylorMade there coming through with 13 yards extra with 310 on average. So a little bit faster ball speed, a little bit higher launch, a little bit lower spin. Pretty much tagline for most drivers of this era right now.
And if you look at the total there, 13 yards difference, 7 years give or take between the 2 clubs. It's about 2 yards every single year that I've gained through the air on that one, or at least total distance. So what are the key takeaways then between a 7-year-old driver, the Callaway X-Hot, and the 2020 model of the TaylorMade SIM? Well, I've gained yardage, 13 yards in total. Now that was of course off 3 shots, the best 3 shots from each 5, and when you go out on the golf course, you rely on a lot of other things. You rely on the nuances of your golf swing, you rely on accuracy off the tee. I think, if I'm being totally honest with you, I'm still getting to know this driver. I feel like the low spin is great for distance when you catch it. When you don't catch it, the ball tends to fall out of the air a little bit quicker, whereas I've always gotten along well with this club. Despite the fact it spins more, the ball seems to stay in the air for that little bit longer just because of that extra backspin. But there's no doubt that I'm hitting shorter irons into greens now that I've got the TaylorMade SIM in the bag. I'm going in with a 9-iron or an 8-iron as opposed to a 6-iron or a 7-iron, and that ultimately is going to help lower the scores. But I think what this illustrates is that over a 7-year period, that is a significant amount of time when it comes to driver technology. 13 yards is essentially what I've gained. Not insignificant, but perhaps not in line with some of the crazy claims that these manufacturers make year in, year out when they launch a new model. It's just worth bearing in mind when you are trying a new driver. There's a 7-year age gap here, and there's a 13-yard distance gap as well. This was a great club for me. Hopefully this one will be the same.